Okay, so we're gonna cold open this one, and I'm gonna preface this podcast with telling you guys that if I cut out, just keep going, because I'm back in good soil, and the internet's really crappy. So
What?
go on
Good
without
soil.
me.
Where's good soil?
Good soil?
Where's good soil?
Good soil? Well, there's good soil all over the world, actually, but I am in the center of it.
No, I think what you mean is good soil is everywhere else except in good soil.
Yes, pretty much. It
It
is the worst soil I've ever laid eyes on.
is quite rocky. Quite rocky. Anyway, back to the podcast. Welcome to Off the Chain. I'm Jeremy.
I'm
I'm
Stefan.
Troy.
We still need to work on that.
Well, welcome to
Oh,
episode
geez.
6. Finally.
I thought this was episode 5.
Oh shit, it is episode
This
5.
is definitely episode 5.
Well-
Oh, you ruined it, Jeremy.
And I gave you so much time to introduce yourself,
Hey.
Stefan.
Episode 6 will
Hey, I
come
thought you-
shortly. Very shortly.
Yeah, okay, so this is our origin story. And actually, I think it would be a good point for Jeremy to start first, seeing as how you're back in your hometown of Good Soil, Saskatchewan.
I thought you were going to say because I have the most holes in my memory of childhood. And then you could
You
just...
sound like you were abused as a child or something.
No, I just don't remember
it's like-
things.
The holes in your
Well-
memory are akin to the holes in the plot of The Lord of the Rings.
Ugh, gosh. Yeah, pretty much is abundant.
Okay,
Oh,
wait, actually,
jeez.
I think that my story is the one that kind of ties all of this together.
That's exactly what I was
Yeah.
thinking. I think you should tell the story and we will jump in as need be.
All right.
I would, before we
So-
get into this though, I would like to address a couple of questions from our listeners. So we had a question about the young and Spock. And we used to say, when we lived together, we used to say young and spry, but one time somebody misheard it and thought we said Spock. Do you guys remember who that was?
I don't remember. I'm pretty sure
could've-
it was me, because I have bad
Yeah.
hearing sometimes.
I could have sworn it was Troy, and then he was kind of confused, but he just went along with it and said Young and Spock. And we were like, wait, what? Young and Spock? Why are you saying that? And he's like, that's what you guys were saying. I thought the saying was Young and Spock. And we're like, no. It's Young and Spry. Young and Spry.
Okay, so I'd like to address that, as well as we talked about a ghost pepper story. We already told the story about the habanero, but my brother asked about the ghost pepper. So
Wait. Why? We already talked about the ghost pepper.
I think we need to tell the whole ghost pepper story, and then we can talk about in semantics and pedantics. We can transition into who actually made you eat the ghost pepper.
What? It was no. Okay.
Yes.
The
Wait,
whole thing
which
about
one?
The, bet.
The ones I ate, or
No,
the habanero
the-
that Stefan ate?
the one in the Oreo.
Oh.
I don't think I've heard this story.
No way. So okay. Sorry. I was equating the two in my mind. The habanero and the ghost pepper were both equally as bad for me. So
I think the fact that the habanero was fresh and the ghost pepper was dry made a big difference. But anyway, we can tell that story when we get there, and then we can transition into that. So I think we can get back to our origin story as friends.
all right. But before that, actually, I should preface this with I'm in the kitchen right now and my muffins are done. So just a sec, guys.
That's definitely going in.
Jeez. Better bring us muffins.
God damn it. You didn't bring me a single freaking banana chocolate chip muffin, Troy.
I'm sorry. There's so many bakeries in Japan, though. Whew.
You know, I'm going to get some amazing food in France. Let me tell you.
All right, I'm back.
Oh, golly gee.
Okay, well, Stefan, you want to carry us through this origin story?
Origin story. Part 1. I was born and raised in Grand Prairie, Alberta. Went to a French immersion school. I don't know, is that relevant?
Sure, why not?
Kind of. Because you were asking about the French. Yeah, so I actually kind of know French-ish, I guess.
That's what all the people who go to French immersion school say, and I'm like, God damn it, you know French. Like, what were you doing at that school for 13 years?
Well, the thing is no. What happens is you're not very confident in it when you haven't been speaking French in the past 6 years or so. So I feel like if I were in a situation where I was in French immersion again, it would come back to me. But as of right now, I'm about 2 months away of speaking French again.
But you had that opportunity when we lived with those French exchange students for those 2 summers.
Yeah, and I feel like my confidence in my French went up.
And
those
mine
2
went down.
summers.
Mine went down.
We've mentioned this before, but Troy, Jeremy, and I are all swimmers, and that's basically the unifying factor that brought us all together. And I started out swimming at a very young age. Actually, my dad would... No, it wasn't even my dad. We had a neighbor, a family friend, who would take us to the pool. And that's how I first started swimming, because I used to be terrified of the water, actually. And I actually still remember my dad taking us to the pool, and he would give us a log ride. So we would just ride on his back, and he would push off in the water. And that was my first memory of swimming.
Well, are we talking about our first swimming memories now?
Oh, I guess, yeah. What are you guys' first swimming memories?
Oh, geez.
I remember...
Like very first competitive ones?
Yeah, I'm just going to...
Well, no, because mine...
I don't remember my first swimming memory. The earliest back I remember is when I was taking like Red Cross swim lessons or something, but I couldn't get past level...
Oh my god, you took Red Cross?
I think so, because I remember having Francois as a coach.
Oh, Francois was awesome.
I couldn't get past like level 5 or something because I couldn't do freestyle. And then I took some time off, and then I was just playing soccer because that was what I did at the time. And
by the way, Red Cross doesn't call it freestyle; they call it front crawl.
Whatever.
Because when I was becoming an instructor, yeah, I know,
People
but they
who
were
don't,
like,
people who don't swim call it front.
Yeah, we already
crawl.
talked about this. They're not real swimmers.
but when I was like learning to become a lifeguard, they were like, don't call it freestyle, it's front crawl. And it took so long for me to remember not to call it front crawl or freestyle.
It could be misleading to children
crawl.
who don't know how to swim. I understand that.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, they're hip hopping in the pool and you're not accomplishing anything. So I get it.
What? I don't get that.
Freestyle hip hopping, man. You know, you just bust it out, groove it to the rhythm. There's always music playing
No.
in the Grand Prairie pool.
No.
Whatever. Anyway, yeah, okay. So I remember taking Red Cross swim lessons. I remember being bad at it, and then I remember stopping, continuing soccer, and then I got like a heel spur or something, so I couldn't run very well. So I stopped swimming, and for some reason I kept asking my mom to put me back into swimming. But I went into a competitive group this time, whatever the lowest competitive group was at the time. And then, I don't know, I enjoyed it a lot, and I moved up quickly. And that was how I got into piranhas. Troy?
Nice. What was my first? I did swimming lessons back in Crystal Pool here in Victoria. And I never paid attention to the coach. I was always doing my own thing. And so they bumped me up a few levels. That was pretty much it until the end of elementary school when I was starting to get chubby. So my mom told me to pick a sport and laid out the sports catalog or whatever. And so I chose swimming. And that was the start of my 8-year career.
So you started in Victoria, which is where you're from, and
Yeah.
I started in Grand Prairie, which is where I'm from, technically. Stefan?
Oh boy.
Stefan!
Stefan.
Oh yeah, I'm here. Sorry, I'm just doing the muffins thing. All right, so let us continue. Back to Grand Prairie. That was when I first met Jeremy. I'm not exactly sure at what point it was. I feel like I was a mid-level swimmer in the club. Because I still remember there were senior swimmers above me. And I don't know, Jeremy, I guess that was when you joined at the lowest level? Or one of the low groups?
It must have been, but I was like 10 or 11 at the time. I was pretty young.
Yeah, you were. Because I was like, what?
15?
13 or 14. 15?
No, dude, you're like 3 years older than me. 3 or 4 years older than me, aren't you? You were born in 90,
Yes.
so you're 5 years older than me.
5 years. Okay, yeah. So I was
Jeez,
about
you're
15.
so old, Stefan.
So maybe I was one of the senior swimmers of the club. So, anyways, all I remember is that there was the one year where you came, and we both fell for that one girl, Chelsea.
Yeah, which is weird because of the age gap, but she was right in the middle of us.
Yeah. And then you left, and I kind of forgot about you.
Yeah.
And then I saw you again that one summer in Edmonton.
I do remember coaching with you, like as being your assistant coach when I was like 12 or something.
I don't remember that.
You were coaching some really young group, and I remember standing there not knowing what to do.
Oh man, I was probably terrible at telling you what to do.
Maybe, I don't remember. Who knows?
But then when you came back and you were super serious about swimming.
So, yeah, I stopped swimming because I moved to good soil, where there is very little good soil. And I did like everything here. I did all the sports because everybody has to do them for there to be a team. Because the population of the town's only like 200 or 300.
I thought you were going to say just 2 or 3.
Well, there's sometimes it feels like there's only 2 or 3. So I did all the sports, and then for some reason I really wanted to get back into swimming. And I went and swam in Cold Lake, Alberta for a little bit, which is like 45 minutes from here. We only trained like 2 or 3 times a week, and the club just wasn't very good. Like, to this date, the best 200 short course free from their club is like 211 or something.
Whew, boy.
To this day.
To this day. And I ended at like 153 or something, so.
We should go back there again.
I should go back and break the 50, the 100, and the 200 all in one go. I might even be able to break the 50, the 1, the 2, and the 4 all in one go.
Don't get ahead of yourself.
No, I don't know. He was a pretty good 400.
Yeah, I know.
I am legitimately worried for this 400 in
8 years.
8 years.
I'm not.
You're not worried?
8 years. I've got the long con.
Hold the phone, Troy. You're the guy who keeps saying, "Oh, I need to start exercising. I'll start on Monday."
Yeah.
Monday comes around. "Oh, I'll start on next Monday."
Yeah.
We're like, "Oh, it's Friday. I have to start at the beginning of the week."
But I am an expert at
dry swimming
things and dry swimming.
8 year.
Oh, you already talked about this, right? The 10-year dry swim. Because you're gonna
10-year dry.
It's gonna be like 2 years from there. Oh no, I got 2 years. 2 years to train. It's all good. 1 year. Oh, I got 1 year to train. It's all good. 6 months. Oh, I got 6 months. It's all good.
I've already told myself I am not gonna get in the pool until that race. I am not gonna train a little bit. I'm not even gonna warm up in the pool. I'm gonna like do some skipping and I'm gonna dive off the blocks and go for it.
No way, this is gonna be amazing. So yours is gonna be.
I can't wait.
Yours is also gonna be a dry swim then.
Yeah,
of a sort.
It'll be bad. I don't know if I'll be able to get off the blocks even.
I probably won't even be able to bend over to do a proper dive.
Why? Because your belly will be too big, or because your hamstrings
won't
will
be
be able
flexible.
to handle it?
Yeah.
Okay, back to my story. I really wanted to get back into swimming, so I started training at Cold Lake, but they didn't have a very good club. So then I ended up going back to Grand Prairie and living with some cousins there, and trained there for a year, and then the club kind of dissolved. But I wanted to continue sticking with it, so I moved to Victoria to swim with cousins there.
And I don't appear again until you come to Victoria, Stefan. You are the tying link. Well, I mean, I probably would have met Jeremy even if he hadn't come. But who knows if we'd become friends.
I don't know. Like, why did you go to Victoria? Why did you choose Victoria?
Because I had relatives there, and you were there, actually. Because I knew somebody there and I had family there, so...
If Stefan wasn't there, would you have still come?
To the swim club? That is a good question. I don't know. I may have ended up in Edmonton or something.
Yeah. Because you also had family or friends in Edmonton, right?
Well, yeah. So
anyone that you would have stayed with?
I mean, just that uncle that threatened to throw me down the stairs that one time.
Nice uncle.
Yeah, maybe you did have an abusive childhood.
Well, no, just that one dick. Well, actually, I have a couple uncles who are like really old school and not very nice. But
all right. So, anyways, yeah, because I remember you coming back to Grand Prairie, And even then, I kind of remembered you from before, but not really. So, but it was also at that period of your life where 1 year is a lot. Like, it's a big difference. And you were such a skinny, tall, gangly kid. Oh my god. Like, the skinniest. I don't know how you were even able to pull through the water.
That was the phase where I couldn't stand.
Yeah. Yeah, and so we called you the baby giraffe because you couldn't even balance, really.
I'd just be standing looking at the board for practice and I'd start to like tilt over.
There was nothing. Yeah.
I mean, even as Jeremy grew up, he still wasn't known for his coordination.
Yeah, but I came a long ways, Troy.
Yeah, this is true because, well, hold on. I think your strategy was the classic Jeremy lean, where you put one arm up on a wall.
That must have been where I developed that strategy.
I think so.
Jeez.
So when you were in Grand Prairie,
Jeremy Wall.
sometimes you wouldn't even be able to stand. You would just be standing there, and all of a sudden, start tipping over. So I think that's why
I
you
carried
decided...
through to Victoria too. I didn't get out of that by the time I got to Victoria.
Yeah. Because in Victoria, that's when I noticed that you started leaning against walls. Just had like one arm up above your head, leaning all cool like, and so we called it the Jeremy lean.
This would be a great opportunity to put this image on Facebook to really connect with the viewers.
So yeah, in Grand Prairie, when you came back, I didn't really know you. But I think that's when we started to actually become friends. And I was a senior swimmer then, and you were a young
15,
up-and-comer.
16 maybe?
Yep.
That's a young up-and-comer is stretching what I was, let me tell you. Like, I was slow. Because I missed all those years.
Yeah, playing soccer or whatever you were doing.
Well, not in good soil. I played a lot of volleyball, badminton, track, little baseball.
When did you start competitive swimming?
Well, I started for a little bit when I was like 10, but then I started again when I was like 15, I think. Yeah, it was about 15.
So you were even later than me.
Yeah, and when I
thought I was late, because I started, like, basically right at the end of grade 5, start of grade 6.
So that's
which is
11?
Pretty late still.
Yeah, it is really late.
Like, if starting anything after, like, 10 years old, or, like, anything after, like, 6 years old is late.
You guys were so late starting. I was so early starting. Like, I started when I was, like, 4 or something.
Yeah, I remember I felt so embarrassed because when I first joined, I was with, like, Sam Ogden, whatnot, and he's, like, 5 years younger than me?
No, Sam's like 18.
Or 3 years younger than me. Anyways, I was older than them for the age, and they were all faster than me.
It took me, like, 8 years to get over that. Like, only in this last year was I faster than all the younger kids at Cracker.
That's like me with karate now. I'm getting beat by these 10 to 12-year-old kids because they're so much faster than me and they've got all the technique down. I just don't have the muscle memory. So like they're these kids who are maybe up to my belly button in height, maybe a little bit taller. And so they're punching up at me, right? In order to punch in at my torso. And they're still scoring more points than me.
You can't even overpower them anymore. You're not as strong as you once were.
I still think I could. I mean, if I were to disregard the rules of the sport, then yes, I probably could just overpower them. But
that's how I play squash against new players and girls, is I just overpower them. Because I'm not very skilled.
Oh, yeah.
I would like to say that when you were at Grand Prairie, and I was just getting back into it, like, that whole year at Cold Lake was barely worth anything. But, like, I came back, was slow, and I was like, wow, Stefan is amazing. And then I remember saying something about beating you in 100 IM, and you're like, please.
Oh yeah, like I was like, that'll never happen, dude.
You were way, way faster than me at the time.
I could almost lap you in 100 IM, I think. Like, it was like I would finish 25 meters ahead of you or something.
Yeah, you were substantially faster than I was.
Yeah. So I actually wasn't that fast. I was only fast in comparison to Jeremy. And I
said something about how good I was.
Yeah, well, it was at the time in Grand Prairie, the senior swimmers fast. Like, I feel like the years before me were where all the fast swimmers were. But they all retired.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was just me, and I was like, well, I'm pretty much a big fish in a small pond. But I'd rather be the little fish in a big pond. So I was looking for universities, like a university swim team that I could swim on. And
yeah, and then you went and swam with the same club that the academy trains out of. So you went to the biggest pond.
yeah.
The biggest pond you could
Well,
find
yeah,
in Canada.
I was like, my dad, I was actually really struggling with whether or not I would quit swimming or not, because in my eyes, I had failed for so long. I wasn't as fast as I wanted to be. My improvement was steady, but it was slow. So I really felt like swimming was not for me. I'm just wasting all this time. But eventually, I had a measure of inaction. I just didn't know where to go in university. And so my dad helped me find some clubs, some university clubs. And I think actually Dalhousie was ready to accept me onto the team. But Dalhousie at the time was one of the slower university teams. And so I was like, nah, I'm going to go to Victoria, even though there was no way I was making it onto the Victoria team. So I joined the local club there. And that's basically how I met Troy, because the head coach at the time knew of a mother in the swim team who was taking on exchange students. And usually she would take on like the Japanese, like foreign students. And they were in like, what, high school level or something?
Yeah, high school.
Yeah. And she was like, well, I'll make the exception for this university student. And yeah, Troy.
It was through the club rather than a usual homestay program.
Yeah. So I ended up staying with Troy, and Troy was... Were you the level below me for the first year?
Yes.
Yeah, so I don't know how that worked out, but then the following year, then Troy and I were training together and living together, so that was a blast. And I can't believe that when I met you, you were 14.
Oh, geez, was I?
I think so. You were so young. And I was like 19, right?
Have we known each other for 7 years?
Yeah, that sounds about right, because I was living in Victoria for 6 years.
Wow.
But those were some of the funnest times, I think.
We did some fun stuff back in the day.
Yeah, and then Jeremy decides that he also wants to be a little fish in a big pond and comes out to Victoria, which was one of the national training centers. Is it still one of the national training centers of Canada?
It still is. Yes.
All right. So it's still, yeah. So they have Olympians training here, and they have, a fairly decent varsity team.
I mean, now that we have Eric, we're pretty good. But
yeah.
To be honest, our university team's kind of like,
Yeah.
Buzz is good, John is good. We have a couple of girls that are good, but
yeah. So I never made it onto the varsity team, but we were on the same team. Troy, Jeremy, and I were all swimming together, training together for I don't know how long, like 3 or 4 years,
something like that. I remember when Jeremy first came, he had like the lowest endurance.
Oh yeah.
I couldn't break a minute for a 50 kick for like months.
Months? Are you sure it was
Couldn't
only
swim
months?
for like...
I mean, maybe it was longer, but it felt... I don't know. I just don't know. But I was really bad. I remember one of the first practices, I had Ian Stewart, and like Alec was there and stuff, and I was like, Alec and Keegan.
Gosh.
And I was like, wow, I am way out of my league.
Yeah. So I'm actually really impressed you kept going. You were in a similar situation as me, where... I mean, I felt like I wasn't that fast at all. And yet I went to a place where there are even faster swimmers.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I guess that's how we all met. We all got into swimming together. And then we lived together for the 1 year. Only 1 year.
Uh-huh.
And then
was it only 1 year?
Yeah, it was only my grade 12 year. Because at grade 11, I lived with my cousins. Grade 12, I lived with you guys. And then in university, I went to residence first year, and then I housed after that.
Feels like so much longer.
Oh yeah, it was only a year.
this could be the perfect transition to the ghost pepper story, seeing as how that happened while you were in residence.
I guess so. So I'm gonna tell this story, and then we're gonna accept that as fact, and then Stefan can spew his gibberish.
Set that as fact.
Yeah, no kidding.
You know what? Just listen.
You don't spew facts.
Just listen to the story, okay?
We need. No. If anything, this is alternate facts, and I'm going to be setting the record straight.
Okay, so.
Jeez. I'll be the fact checker machine.
I always like to pull pranks on Stefan. Oh, actually, yeah. So Stefan lived with me for 2 years. When I left Kim's, didn't you leave with me?
No.
No, because you went I lived with Kim for 1 more year, and you lived in residence for that 1 year, and then we got together.
Yeah, okay. So over this time, I like to start doing little pranks, and they often revolved around messing with your Oreos. Because I know how much you love those tasteless, crappy cookies.
Whoa.
They're like the most bland,
this
plain,
is unfounded,
Americanized cookie you could eat. It's a disgrace to somebody who likes food. Cookie. Like, you like food, and I find it disappointing that you like Oreos.
Yeah, because I like food, and it's all food.
It's so terrible.
You know what? This is coming from the guy who watches Good Mythical Morning, and they eat shampoo. So whatever your definition of food is, it's questionable.
It's the 3-year anniversary from that episode.
Oh my god! Like, why would you put a non-food item and see if it foods?
Maybe
like,
it has. Well, they have gotten non-food items to food. Anyway, you know what? It doesn't matter. I'm not judging them. I'm judging you. So I like to mess with his Oreos. So like this one time I scooped out all the cream and left all the cream in the box and took the cookies and put them elsewhere.
This is terrible. Hold on. Let's explain just how much I love Oreos, okay? Oreos come in a package. Like, you can buy a package and they come in multiples of 3. Like 21 or something. 21 cookies? So it's awesome to be able to eat 3 cookies, and I have to have a glass of milk with those cookies. 2 cookies is not quite enough. It's not enough to get that Oreo fix, that Oreo high. 4 cookies is just too much.
That's artificial Oreo flavor. Yeah.
No, it's chocolate flavor. That's not too
artificial. It's chocolate flavor.
Okay, anyways. Let's not get into what constitutes an Oreo, because I'm not exactly sure either. I haven't looked at the ingredients or anything. I can guarantee that it's edible, though, and it's not shampoo. So, yeah,
okay,
4 cookies. 4 cookies.
We've determined that shampoo is edible, but whatever, keep going.
What? No.
Red and Link determined that was edible. They got it down. So, anyway, keep going.
Just because you can get it down doesn't make it edible.
I would argue it does make it edible, actually. If edible is simply the act of consumption, then yes. It is edible.
So what about the guy who eats metal, then? Just because he can get it down doesn't mean that it's edible.
It's edible, but it's not recommended. It's not healthy, but it's edible.
Well, I don't recommend eating shampoo either.
Okay, well, that's not the point. The point is whether it's edible, and I would say it is.
Well, no, my point is that it's not meant to be edible. They're not making shampoo thinking, oh, people can eat this.
No, they're not meant to be edible, but that doesn't mean that they're not.
Yeah, but why would you put something that's not meant to be edible into your food?
For the lulz, obviously.
Oh.
For the lulz.
Ridiculous.
The plural of LOL. The lulz.
Whatever. I'm just glad you never put any shampoo into my Oreos, because that would have been...
Well, thanks for the idea. Now I know where we're going next. Actually, I've got a list of prank ideas involving your Oreos. That'll be 3rd on the list.
What? I've been gone for too long. These pranks are just building up. They're all going to happen at once when we meet up next.
It's not even technically possible to do them all at once, but...
Okay, so... What was I saying? Right. 3 Oreos is perfect. 2, not enough. 4, too many. And I know exactly how much milk I need in order to eat these 3 Oreos with the milk. And I don't dunk. Dunking is for... I don't know. Sheeple who follow the commercials.
Sheeple? Wake up, sheeple! Don't dunk your Oreos.
Yeah.
No, the way you have to do it is you take 1 bite of Oreo, You chew that. You gotta let it breathe. You gotta breathe in through your nose, get that flavor to sink in onto your
Freaking
tongue.
Oreo connoisseur here.
Then you take a sip of the milk to rinse down that Oreo, and that milk, it just tastes so much more creamy after you've had that Oreo, and it washes away the chocolate so that when you take the next bite of Oreo, it's like a fresh bite. So it's like just the full Oreo experience all over again, and you get to do that for 3 cookies, and it takes 4 bites per cookie.
He's got it down to a science, but I think we spent way more than enough time explaining how good you think Oreos are.
Okay, well,
it's free advertisement for Oreos.
It makes whatever the hell you did to my Oreos that much worse.
They're just not worth the time you just gave them. Anyway,
they should sponsor
us. Yeah, if you want to send Stefan 378 boxes of Oreos, feel free.
That would be amazing. Holy.
Yeah, but you're not exercising enough to consume all those Oreos anymore.
Okay, I would be willing to start exercising again in order to eat all those Oreos.
Okay, so I like to do some things. Like one time I took out all the insides of the Oreos and put them in the box and remove the cookies. Or I'd take out one Oreo and then you would have an odd number of Oreos left to consume.
And then I have like one left over. No, okay, with the ones where you took out all the cookies and left all the icing inside. That was like I came home and where did I go? I don't remember. It was like my cousin's wedding or something. And then I came back and you said you had texted me before I came back and you said, "Oh, I did something to your Oreos." And there was just this huge sense of dread inside of me because I know that it wasn't just the normal, "Oh, I took one Oreo out and ate it."
That's the best part, is the mental game.
Oh, yeah, so what was it, like a week? I spent a week avoiding the Oreos because I didn't want to look inside the package. I didn't want to know what had been happening. I don't know, but after this week or two, I kind of forgot about it. And I was like, I'm going to have some Oreos. So I poured myself a glass of milk, the perfect amount of milk to enjoy 3 Oreos. I go grab the package of Oreos, open it up, and there's no Oreos inside. All there is, it was a specifically hot day, a hot summer day in Victoria. So all of those icing patties were just melted on the bottom of the tray.
There's only like 4 or 5 of them.
So there's like this. Well, no, there was definitely a multiple of 3, unless you ate one of them. So that was like a double prank on me.
I might have. I don't know.
So there was like, oh no, right? Because you took most of the Oreos and just put them in a bag and stuffed them. You hid them away from me, and so then there was just like maybe 2 or 3 patties that were just melted on the bottom of this tray, and I was like, well, god damn it! Now I have this glass of milk, and Jeremy's just laughing himself, sitting in the corner there, rocking back and forth like a madman, and so I glare at him as I drink this milk that I had poured, and I don't know, like I was angry.
I made eye contact and watched you drink this glass.
I know, and I was staring you down.
Of me.
So I finished this glass of milk, and then Jeremy's like, "Hold on, let me go grab something," and he goes and brings out the rest of the Oreos, and I'm like, "Well, what the hell? Now I'm too full from this glass of milk to enjoy 3 Oreos."
Because you had just eaten supper too.
Yeah, it was the worst.
So, but even better than this is where I got a bunch of dried ghost peppers in first year university, and I got this idea from Rhett and Link. Mm-hmm. And I brought them to our residence and we ate some of them. Shout out to Ellis and Klaus for eating the first 2. They barely survived.
And then Troy. I remember Troy going over because I went over that one time. I had one. Yeah.
Yeah, Troy was like sweating up a storm and his glasses were fogging up and his leg was twitching, but he wouldn't drink any milk or eat any ice cream or anything.
Well, because that was the thing. What was it? Klaus and who were the first ones?
Ellis. Yeah.
Klaus and Ellis, and they were saying, "Oh, it's the worst thing ever. Everybody better be ready." So
yeah, Klaus was talking about clawing at the walls in the bathroom in the morning.
Yeah,
just pooping out razors, probably.
And I'm just like, I could do it without milk or anything.
Yeah. So, but there was like a five or 6 people lined up for the second round 2 of the ghost pepper, and each of them has either like a gallon of milk or a tub of ice cream or some ice water. And there's Troy with nothing. And everyone's like, Troy, you should probably have something. Like, they're like, you can have some of my milk. And Troy's like, no, I'm fine.
I'll be good.
And they all eat the...
Man, I should have had a better something.
Yeah, you got very
Even
little out of
after
that.
having it, I still did. I know. I got nothing out of taking it without any milk except for, like...
Everyone's admiration.
Recognition. Yeah.
Which was
Because-
short-lived.
Yeah, no kidding.
But we're reviving it through this podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, because so everyone's like... They all down the ghost pepper at the same time. And everyone starts dancing around. I remember just like they just couldn't stand still. And there's Troy, standing as still as possible, except once his legs started twitching.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. So, like, I ate it, and it's hard to chew because it's freaking dry. So it's like trying to eat the skin, and it just tastes awful.
Even harder to
Finally
swallow.
get it swallowed.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, this isn't too bad. But then I start feeling the heat. Like, first my mouth goes numb. And then, I'm just like, oh man, this is actually really hot. So, like, my mouth or whatever starts, like, quivering because it's so numb. And then I feel my leg twitching. I'm just like, oh, this is really, really hot. And then I could feel the tears welling up in my eyes. I'm like, whoo, whoo. It's like,
Woof,
oh
woof,
god.
boy. No, because then, yeah, you started sweating and tearing, and I remember you, like, wiping the tears on the sleeve of your sweater.
Yeah, and you're like, careful, don't touch your eyes.
Yeah, everyone's like, don't touch your eyes,
I'm-
don't touch your eyes. Because the spice,
Oh,
the
man.
spice from the ghost pepper would make your
Yeah.
eyes burn, so it would be like pepper spray in your
Oh,
eyes.
man.
Yeah. I took that ghost pepper like a champ.
Troy
You did.
did take that ghost pepper like a champ.
That you did.
I took nothing. I took nothing for the grueling pain and suffering I went through. Although I was fine the next day. My stomach was unsettled for the rest of the day, but
Unsettled.
the following day I was fine.
So anyway, I used this bag of ghost peppers, and I had like a few of them left after first year of university. So I kept trying to get people to eat them whenever we would have get-togethers, like have a games night or whatever. And Stefan was always reluctant in eating this pepper. He was like, "No, that's just so stupid. Why? Why?" Exactly how he reacted to the Rhett and Link eating baby shampoo in their tacos.
Mhm.
So I just kept pressing him, and eventually I was like, you know what? I blended up the last ghost pepper in the magic bullet, so it's just little flecks. I took his Oreo, opened it, cut out the middle, and put the ghost pepper flecks in the Oreo. I closed the Oreo, put it back in the box, and it was really hard because I kept getting red flakes on the outside, and I was like, man, if he sees these red flakes, he's not going to eat this Oreo. So I did it.
Wait, why wouldn't you just like smear it on top of the frosting so that it would be harder to notice?
That might have been a good idea, but I didn't want it to like be.
Because if you pick up an Oreo, I feel like it's pretty obvious to see that the frosting is no longer inside
No,
of it.
the frosting. See, I cut out just the middle of the frosting, so the rim of the frosting still existed. So there was a hole in the middle of the frosting.
Okay.
I was trying to
Yeah,
keep
yeah.
it level. I was trying to keep the Oreo level, and I was trying not to get it on the outside. So I accomplished this after I tried 3 different Oreos because it was really hard. And
At least
I
it was
put
a
it back.
multiple of 3.
It might have been 2. I might have just been like, I'm gonna fuck him over in every way. So I put it back in the box, and then I just waited patiently because you always had them after supper at night after practice. So I just waited and waited, and eventually, I don't know how long I waited, but eventually you grab the Oreo, and you tell your part of the story from here.
What happened when you grabbed your Oreo, Stefan? The tampered Oreo.
This was more than a year after he had bought those ghost peppers. Because by that time, we were living together. And it was summer. Or maybe it wasn't a year. Maybe it was only the 8 months. So
Regardless,
8
it was a
months.
long time.
8 months of Jeremy going, "Hey, Stefan, you should eat the ghost pepper. And I'm like, no, that's just stupid. Why would I do that? You even sound stupid suggesting it. I mean,
Well,
at
your
least in this
imitation of me
version
sounds stupid, but
Yeah, exactly. Anyways, so you just basically admitted it by saying, oh, he's never going to eat this Oreo, so I should take matters into my own hands and quote unquote fuck him in every way. So clearly, you are going to force me to eat this ghost pepper whether I wanted to or not. So, well, hold on. Actually, we do need to tell the rest of the story because it gives the full story of your perspective, right? So, I grab the pack. How I eat this, I don't twist the top off. I don't dunk the cookie. So there's no way of me knowing that there is ghost pepper powder in the center of my cookie because it looks normal. So I take a bite of this cookie and it's kind of gritty, a little bit like crunchier than normal. I'm like, I don't know really what's going on here. But, you know, I'm enjoying the chocolatey flavor and I take a sip of my milk to wash it down. And I think that's what delayed the spice response on my tongue was that milk. So I took a second bite, start chewing that, and then I'm like, wait, this is spicy. What's going on here? And I look at my Oreo, and there's just this red powder that's coming out of the Oreo, falling onto the table, and I knew immediately who to blame.
I remember this very moment.
So I glare at Jeremy, and I'm like,
yeah, it was Troy. And I was standing right there, right beside him, like in the kitchen. And I watched him look perplexed at this cookie as he was genuinely confused as to what was going on. And there were flakes falling on the table.
I can't believe you put ghost pepper in my cookie. I might as well just eat a ghost pepper now. And then...
That's exactly what you said.
Yeah, and then out of nowhere, Jeremy's like, well, okay, pulls the ghost pepper out of his back pocket. Like he was ready for it. Like he knew that that's what my response was going to be. And so he hands me this ghost pepper, and I'm just so angry. My tongue is on fire. I'm like, well, it can't get any worse than this, so here we go. Stick that thing in my mouth, and it is, yeah, like Troy said, it is super dry and so hard to swallow. And at least I had that glass of milk with me, but, oh, God. It hurt. It hurt.
Yeah, okay. I was standing in the kitchen right beside the cupboard where I held the ghost peppers, so... It's not like I had it in my back pocket, but I was ready. I was hoping you were going to say that. So I just put it right in front of you, and you ate it. And this was the night that we went to Bouchard Gardens and watched those fireworks.
Which was an amazing show, by the way. Although it was ruined by the just intense bursts of pain in my stomach every 10 minutes. And it was so deceptive, too, because it would let me down slowly. I'm like, okay, that was probably the last of it. But my stomach feels pretty good.
Experiencing the dark and the light at the same time.
Yeah. Troy, get out of here.
Yeah, Troy.
And here, this is why I maintain that Jeremy force-fed me this ghost pepper, because it took 8 months of me saying no, that he finally sneaks it into my Oreo, which he knows I am guaranteed to eat eventually. So he tricked me into eating this ghost pepper powder, and then he knew that at that moment I would be highly suggestible, and when I said in anger, well, I might as well eat one ghost pepper now, he hands me a ghost pepper. Is that not, like, forcing me to eat it?
No, it's not! You chose to eat the whole pepper. You
manipulated me into eating this ghost pepper.
Okay, maybe, but I still didn't force you to do it. I manipulated you for sure.
You forced that first bit down me by putting it in my Oreo.
That's true, but it was a minuscule amount, and it was just on the tip of your tongue. You were totally going to survive that. But I'm an expert at playing the Stefan game, and it played right into my hands. Ultimately, you made the decision. I mean, despite the fact that free will doesn't technically exist on a philosophical level, you still chose to eat that ghost pepper.
But is it really a choice? That's like saying, okay, you get the choice of either killing your mom or killing this stranger. Well, I'm going to kill the stranger.
Yeah, but that's not the position where you're in. You're in the position of eating this ghost pepper or just not eating the ghost pepper, and you chose to eat the ghost pepper.
Either way, I was in pain. Okay. You basically...
At that point, you didn't have to eat the ghost pepper.
Yeah, you could have been like, well, I already ate it. I'm satisfied. But you didn't.
No, you know what? I was not satisfied having been forced to eat those crumbs, dude. That was the opposite of
Yes, I
satisfaction.
forced you to eat crumbs. I will acknowledge that. Crumbs that were well diluted with cookie and milk. And then you chose to eat the whole thing.
Hold on, the only reason why they were crumbs is because, as you said, you blended a ghost pepper in the bullet, the magic bullet. So
they were
crumbs
tiny
because
flecks.
you made... That doesn't make them any less spicy. They still had the entire freaking ghost pepper in there.
I mean, technically at a concentration level, but you got less volume of capsaicin, or less, whatever, quantity of capsaicin in those tiny little flecks.
The only reason why that happens is because I take nibbles of my Oreo cookie in order to make it last longer.
Yeah, and you should be glad that you do, because it paid off in this one case.
But not really, because you still forced me to eat that other ghost pepper.
I didn't force you to eat anything. You chose to eat this ghost pepper volitionally.
No, but you manipulated me into eating this ghost pepper, which is akin
I
to you forcing me.
manipulated the situation into an environment where it was likely for you to consume this pepper, but I ultimately didn't force it down your throat. I gave myself the best opportunity of seeing you consume it, and you consumed it.
No. You forced those first 2 bites down my throat were forced.
I did, but that's not the whole pepper. It's like, if you want to go back to the killing, it's like if I force you to kill one person and then you decide to follow through and kill 10 more, those other 10 are your fault, not mine.
No, Jeremy, you don't give an alcoholic a glass of alcohol.
You are reaching too far on your analogies.
No, because if you have the knowledge that by giving them a glass of alcohol, they are going to consume more alcohol, that's essentially you giving them a bunch of alcohol. That's opening the floodgates. If you knew, or you say you were hoping, but as we all know, you have enough confidence in the way I act, that you knew I was going to eat another ghost pepper, because I was going to be angry, and you force-fed me just that taste of ghost pepper. You knew the outcome was going to be me eating the rest of the ghost pepper.
Yes, okay, that is a good point.
You forced me to eat the ghost pepper.
The alcoholics ultimately make the decision. They have a weakened capacity to make the correct decision in that instance, but it's still their decision.
It's like a chemical reaction with the activation energy. The energy that's needed in order to allow the chemical reaction to progress. If you know exactly what that threshold is, and you cross it, and you know that the reaction is then going to proceed to completion. That's what you did to me.
It's like I put it a half step below that point, and then you continued.
No. The half step below that point would have been you just putting the ghost pepper in the Oreos. But having the rest of the ghost pepper ready, that was you pushing me over the edge.
I gave it prime conditions, but you activated it.
What? No, you're the activating agent here. I'm just the reaction.
Troy, what do you think? Troy, what do you think?
We're gonna have to ask our fans what they think.
Yeah, if you have an opinion on this, you can email us at offthechainpod@gmail.com or message us or whatever, tweet us or send us a message on Facebook or post on our page. I don't know. Whatever. Troy, what do you think?
Whether you forced him?
Yes. I know this is going to be hard for you because normally you side with Stefan, but you know that I'm right.
I mean, the cookie part was definitely you forcing him.
I acknowledge that.
But him eating the pepper afterwards was 100% your choice.
Utter garbage. You guys are the worst.
Woo!
If it was alcohol, it would be a different story, in my opinion.
Because it's addictive, I guess.
Spiciness does not.
Hold on. Anger,
in my opinion, influence your decision making.
Anger here is my addiction. It's akin to the alcohol.
Okay, but anger is emotions. Emotions are.
I would argue that the alcoholic still makes the decision because he makes all the prerequisite decisions to put himself in that place, and he's changed his brain chemistry, or she has changed their brain chemistry to put them in that position. So it's who they are. So they still made the decision. It's a changed capacity to make that decision from where they may have initially been. But I would argue it's still the decision, and I would say that applies to you as well.
For fuck's sakes. Can we at least agree that Jeremy is just a terrible human being?
Terrible human
And
being.
an excellent
Jeremy.
prankster. An excellent prankster.
Hey, if anybody at physio school is listening to this, I am a great human being outside of this one context.
No, because we have more stories to tell after this.
Well, I think this would be a good place to wrap up episode 5.
So, recap of Origin Story Part 1. We're all swimmers. That's basically it. And
That is
and
pretty much it.
I met Jeremy in a fairly small town in Alberta. Then we met Troy in a fairly small city in British Columbia.
And then I met Troy in a fairly
Yep.
small city in British Columbia.
Yeah. And then Jeremy became an excellent prankster and is a terrible person.
Yep.
The end. And Troy is probably the hardiest of us.
Oh yeah, and Stefan ate that pepper of his own free will.
Yep. That is true.
Well, that's it. That's Off the Chain. If you guys have any questions, you can email us at offthechainpod@gmail.com, and otherwise, we
should have like a sign off.
Off the Chain.
Oh wait, sorry, I totally disrupted that sign off.
Oh, I know. It was worth the wait. We are off the chain.
That's
Yeah.
good. I like it. We are.
I already said that. You hated on it the first episode.
Did we? Did you?
Yes.
We are.
Yeah, wait,
Off
what?
the
Stefan,
chain.
are you suddenly changing your
Yeah,
opinion?
I am changing my opinion.
What a
But we should
wishy-washy
say-
individual.
That's
We
sudden.
should say.
That is
We should
sudden.
say you are off the chain because of the listener that's off the chain now. Because we're obviously already off the chain. We're just here to make other people cool by listening to us.
What do you think, Troy?
Alright, it's just getting stupider and stupider.